Hey everyone, we're going to look at a fancy factoring technique for quadratics, ax squared plus bx plus c, with a not being 0, a quadratic, using the quadratic formula. So this is x is equal to negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac. And in the previous video, I showed you how to compute this pretty easily. And what you get out of that is you get two roots, which I'm just going to call R1 and R2. These are the zeros of this quadratic. And there's something interesting you can do, because if these are zeros of the quadratic, that means this factors like x minus R1 times x minus R2. Except if you were to then multiply this thing out, you wouldn't end up back at ax squared plus bx plus c, because if you start trying to FOIL this or whatever, you get x times x, which is x squared, not ax squared. So if we just slap an a out front, what ends up happening now is you do actually just have a factorization of this quadratic. To see what I mean, let's take a look at an example. We'll start with 4x squared plus 3x minus 1 equals 0. And we'll compute the discriminant, so b squared minus 4ac is equal to, well, that's b squared is 9 minus 4 times 4 times negative 1, so plus 16 is equal to 25. Apparently that's a common number for me to end up with. Taking the square root, we end up with 5 again, same as last video. That's getting weird. And then we'll plug it in and we get x is equal to negative b, which is negative 3 plus or minus 5 over 2 times a is 8. So taking the high road, we get negative 3 plus 5 is 2, well, that's 1/4, comma, negative 3 minus 5 is, well, that would be negative 8, so that's minus 1. So there are our roots. R1 and R2 are 1/4 and negative 1. So going up to this handy formula here, so I'll maybe even switch colors, and we'll plug in. So we get 3, that's a. Nope, 3 is not a, it's 4. Gotta actually pay attention to your numbers. 4 times x minus 1/4 times x plus 1 is equal to 0. This is a factorization of our original quadratic. If you don't believe me, I believe we have enough time. Of course we have enough time. We have as much time as we want to expand this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this 4 times x minus 1/4 times x plus 1 equals 0. I'm going to actually just get rid of this fraction because I don't like fractions. So let's distribute that out. That's 4x, oops, not plus, 4x minus 1 times x plus 1 equals 0. Now you could FOIL, you could distribute, there's a lot of different things to be done here, but we'll just kind of FOIL. 4x squared, then outside is plus 4x, inside is minus x, and then last is minus 1 equals 0. And we'll combine like terms, so 4x squared plus 3x minus 1 equals 0. And as a matter of fact, that is what we started with. So this thing here, always iffy to circle things on this touchpad, this thing here is the factorization of our original polynomial. So that's kind of a handy way to use the quadratic formula. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching.